and welcome back to Cowabunga Corner. In this episode, I am talking about something not many people have seen. And these are the scripts from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Next Mutation. Okay, true. It's the one area where Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is actually officially shortened down to Ninja Turtles. So it was Ninja Turtles, The Next Mutation. It's not the only area, as the new film is just going to be called Ninja Turtles as well. But it's important to know, it's not the first area, and even though they took Teenage Mutant out of the title of The Next Mutation, they were still teenagers in that show. They were 18. So, now, The Next Mutation. When it was coming out, what did the fans know? Nothing. Much like we're in the boat when any new series is coming out. But I got to visit a wonderful place. The set of Ninja Turtles The Next Mutation. And in doing so, somebody who will remain nameless slipped me these. These right here are scripts from that one season of The Next Mutation. We're talking about scripts from episodes 1 all the way near the back. And these have some of my favorite episodes. The thing is, they're my favorite episodes in the scripts. Well, the episodes that I think they're going to be my favorite in the show end up not being. It's kind of weird to me. Because I thought the scripts were going to reflect the show, and really reading these makes you feel a lot different about the show. Because you don't have the sound effects. You don't have the bad editing. You don't have the Humvee and motorcycle scene in every script. Those cutting room floor clips that were just reused over and over and over again, you don't see that. You see what they intended the show to be. And you know that each of these scenes were actually filmed. And that's the part that has me going, give me the uncuts. I'll fix it. I'll save the show. Because this show can be awesome. If you go into the show and just count seeing a few episodes, you're not going to really get the feel. First of all, my least favorite storyline in all of The Next Mutation is East Meets West. The first 5 episodes, I can go through that and the Staff of Bukai and just toss them off to the side most of the time when watching the show. They're not my favorite villains. They're not my favorite plots. They're just there. Now, I do get more into the villains later on when they add other characters like Dr. Queeze. Then it gives something more of an edge of somebody else for Dragonlord to be working with. Then you got Bone Steel and Van Mai and Silver. You have all these other things that get brought in later in the seasons. But the first 5 episodes, East Meets West, is just an introduction. It gets rid of the Shredder and brings in the Dragonlord because they wanted a new villain. And they wanted a reason for this villain to be after the Turtles. So what does he want to do? He wants to eat them and gain their power. They don't really have a power. But it's interesting to watch him go crazy over it. So this is their introduction. Fine. Let's get past the introduction. This is true with any series. I normally, besides for the original Ninja Turtle cartoon series, that had the best damn introduction ever. But if you take even the 4Kids series, their introduction episodes are not my favorite. You know, it's like, okay, let's get past the Attack of the Mousers and see what else is coming up. And sure enough, they had some amazing things in that series. Same could be said about this series. This is something that is swept under the table, much like the Coming Out of Their Shells and Getting Down to Your Town tour. It is neglected by the fans saying, oh, that's a horrible show, it failed because it failed, it was bad, that's why it went under. No, it was #1 for its time slot and children's programming when it was on. What made it #1? The actors and the scripts. The actors had to put up with something different than most people realize. Every 2 episodes had a different director. So they never had a director that got comfortable with the series. They had a director that kept bringing it in different directions because they weren't with the series all the time. One of the directors when I was on the set for this episode right here, has directed Jackie Chan movies. So, we had some good people working on the show. But what we want to talk about now is the scripts. This is the script for the episode I actually watched get filmed. The episode was supposed to be number 24, called The Guest. But if you take these episodes and compare them to how they actually aired, they were all aired out of order. So there is a different numbering on what used to be the Mirage website, NinjaTurtles.com, for what episode this is. But the script number is 24. And some of these have some really interesting twists and ties. Like, I have right here 2 scripts. They're both the same episode. The big difference is this one says first draft underneath the title, which is, by the way, Turtles Night Out. And this one says final draft. Meaning this one has a lot more cuts and things missing. But if we want to know how the episode would originally look, it would have been this one here. But both are here to be compared. I am thinking about going through and doing some actual comparisons more on CowabungaCorner.com website, because I can actually write up stuff and do the comparison on saying what was cut, what was changed, and you guys can see it better than me trying to sit here and read this stuff. There is one thing that was slipped into there that I did not know what to think about it. It is called the Saban Mini Bible, and as you can tell, some of the autographs have gone right over the writing, but I read this when I first got it. It's their version of the Turtles, letting us know what changed, who's the main characters are, and even the villains. And yes, the villains do not have the same names. Michelangelo's the Jester. And this is back when they still had an A in the E. No, M-I-C-H-A-E-L instead of M-I-C-H-E-L. But this is something extremely fun to read because you get to hear their different versions. But I want to share with you guys one of these. Here. Venus de Milo. From the Saban Mini Bible. Before the show filmed. Before the scripts were in any actor's hands. Before any editor or sound effects person got their hands on the show. This is Venus de Milo's backstory. Venus is heretofore unknown 5th turtle. Splinter, the rat, didn't notice the 5th turtle when the glass jar shattered, spilling the little creatures into the green glowing ooze. In the haste to scoop the turtles into a coffee can, he missed the female turtle who had fallen through a second drain grid. The little female, smeared in glowing goo, floated down a sewer tide and spilled into a draining ditch in New York's colorful Chinatown neighborhood. The baby turtle was already beginning to grow, to mutate, when she was found squirming through the mud by Chung-Ai, a musician, shaman, and scholar of the dragons. On his way to the airport, Chung-Ai decided the unusually large turtle was a curiosity and an omen of good fortune. He decided to take her back with him to his home in mainland China, the city of the Shanghai. There, in Chung-Ai's home of books and magical artifacts, the girl turtle continued to mutate. Chung-Ai named the creature Mei Pei Chi. Beautiful turtle of energy. And even though she was rowdy and precocious, the magician loved his adopted little turtle girl. Chung-Ai raised the female turtle in a cloud of dragon magic as a servant, student, and daughter. The turtle would be taught the art of internal transformation. She would learn that the spirit is the master of the flesh, and that by harnessing the power of her mind and her heart, she would manipulate the element world. Then, after 17 and a half years, Venus' world collapsed. Chung-Ai became aware of a growing restlessness in the Gungji. Translation, spirit mirror. A prison, a magical containment unit, created thousands of years ago by Chang'ai's ancient shaman predecessors. To trap the dragon world, Chang'ai was alarmed. An aberrant rift of cosmic proportions was on the verge of exploding. His investigation would lead to his death. But before the magician died, he gave his beloved turtle girl directions to a curious location, America. New York City, a manhole on the Lower East Side. Go. And with that, he died. Venus de Milo's divine breath. Venus is a master apprentice of the eternal arts. She is focused, cosmic, and possesses to a lesser trained creature would appear to be the power of magic. The American turtle ninjas are amazed, intrigued, and intimidated by the Chinese turtle. Note, Venus is not a sister or cousin to the boys. She is not blood. Psst. That's not how it was supposed to be. Okay. Venus can float, dreamwalk, and create illusions. She is secretive and set in her mysterious ways. Venus' only weapons, besides her heart and spirit, are an exotic arsenal of small throwing balls called kaimei, armor beads. The ball function as weapons in a variety of mysterious ways. Smoke bombs, explosive devices. They can be sharpened in flight and can be used as slicers and dicers. They can burst on the ground into gooey glue. They can be placed strategically and detonated on command, or be activated in flight. Exactly how armor beads works is a source of constant frustration for Donatello. If not a little tattered Chinese cloak, the cloak, while apparently made of a mere fabric, can function like a lead shield. Again, Donatello is dying to analyze its material. Venus is trained in the way of the mind and of the spirit. The boys are trained in the way of the body still. These important differences will set the stage for a long and complicated relationship comprised of culture confusion, compensation sharing, and finally the expansion of the turtle family. In our pilot episode, Venus will earn her way into the group by using her powers and training as a dreamwalker. The turtles will show Venus that they have heart and can fight. Venus will teach the turtles that a warrior without a developed spirit is just an animal with a sword. When Michelangelo jokingly changed her name from Mai Pichi to Venus de Milo, she will pretend to be annoyed. But when the name sticks, she will come to take pride in her new name. It means she's one of them. She's home, with her own kind. In New York, in the sewers, her place of origin. Venus is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. So that is the write-up for Venus de Milo. As you can tell here, there is definitely words that's hard to read in here because of the bleeding of ink and yeah. But that is her description. Now, Venus is supposed to be a sister. That was the agreement that Mirage finally came down to because they never wanted a female turtle. But we've already discussed that in my review of Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation. Now, I also like to share some of my favorite cutout scenes from the first episode. I personally feel that if they made this full first episode, every scene not cut, they would have had an hour-long episode. There are so many cut scenes in this show alone. It's insane because this is not the thickest script. So if this one is filled with cut scenes, you should see Trusting Dr. Queeze. Some of these other ones are thicker. And when you watch the show, you just watch the pages go by of cutscenes. For me, my favorite cutscene, I don't even need to look at the script, is between Michelangelo and Donatello. As they are sitting at a computer on the internet. And Don is typing Mike is standing behind Don as he's typing. And here, no, this is when he's crashing through the wall. Sorry. Aha. And here is that cut scene. And I'm going to read it straight from the script because usually I just read the lines. Oh, well, I memorize the lines itself. But this way you also get the exact wording of what was added. No, what the actions and stuff were supposed to be instead of just me acting it out. Interior Turtle Headquarters night. Donatello and Michelangelo are at the computer on the web. Donatello, read screen. She wants to know how old we are. Michelangelo. I love chat rooms. How else can a cold-blooded reptile meet a hot-blooded babe? Tell her her age. Donatello typing. We're 18. Reads. She and her friend just turned 17. Michelangelo. Touchdown! Donatello. Uh-oh. They want to know what we look like. Michelangelo. Tell her the truth. Tell her we're strong, handsome, intelligent, into martial arts, and fast machines. Donatello. Leave out the green part? Michelangelo. Leave out the green part. It's a short scene, but I love it. Love it so much that if you watch one of my really early video footages here on this channel on YouTube, you will see a video of Matt Hill and Scott McNeil at a convention where this scene was read, along with a long scene between Raph and Leo training, because we had to get Matt to actually read the Raph lines, you know. Had to get him to read some cutscene Raph lines. Overall, I love the scripts. You have so much more here. So many great scenes, so many fun things to look at. But when you look at them and know just how much changes there is in these shows, I want to share with you guys right now a little bit of this script. You can tell these are falling apart. They were only held together by one staple. And when I originally read them, I was in a car going across country heading home. And they have been through quite a few years, as these are from 1997. Really? Has it really been over 10 years since this series has been out? Still can't believe that. This is Trusting Dr. Queeze, formerly titled Trust. And the scene that I'd like to share with you guys is a scene in which Donatello is talking with Dr. Queeze. Now, if you've watched the episode of Trusting Dr. Queeze, you'll find that there is something missing between Dr. Queeze and Donnie. You get to the scene where he's like, oh, the turtle reads my book, right? But you don't understand why Don just decides that he's going to trust and work with Dr. Queeze. You just know it's going to happen. So, here, which surprisingly enough is at the part where it's out of the staples, so it should have been easier to find than that, is the actual scene of Donnie returning the books to Dr. Queeze because he stole them and Splinter told him to return them. Donatello spins around, ready to defend himself, but Queeze just stands there, a non-threat. Donatello holds his stance. Queeze holds out a CD towards him. My book on CD. Take it. Why? Queeze approaches, Donatello takes a step back. I'd like to hear your thoughts from a purely scientific perspective. Donatello again. Why? Queeze steps forward again. Don takes another step back. My theories remain unproven, obviously, because they're fallible. Perhaps it's a time I had a collaborator. Donatello. Why? Queeze. Okay, I'm sensing a pattern here. Let's just stop questioning and go with it, shall we? Donatello. I don't think so. You're Dragon Lord's lackey. Queez steps forth again, invading Donatello's personal space. Donatello backs up again. Queez, Dragon Lord and I had a little parting of ways after the debacle the other night. Donatello, then why are you still here? Queez motions to the lab and all the expensive equipment. Queez, the flux capacitor 8000, the helium-cooled cyber 6000, the synchronic modulator, DNA extractors, electron microscopes. Need I say more? Donatello is in awe by all of this equipment. Beat. Donatello wanting to believe. So you're saying that you freed us on purpose? Queez, not at first, but how can I allow that mechanical blowhard to devour you? It would be a waste of sheer brilliance. Donatello, that's how I feel. Queez steps forth again. Queez, and for what? To rule the world? I'm a Dane, and what I'm doing is important. Donatello, what's that? Queez, cyber molecule genetic redistribution, of course. Leans in secretively. With it, we could rid the world of Dragon Lord for good. That line right there, not in the show. Not in the show at all. With it, we can rid the world of Dragon Lord for good. That line right there is the reason Don is trusting Dr. Queez in this episode. That line is a powerful line to have in the script and to keep in the show, but is taken out. Donatello looks at him, unsure whether or not to trust him. Queez continues, you have the same instincts and love for science as I do. We can work together. Close on Queez's hand as he squeezes the button on a small remote control on the scene. Donatello takes a step away as he looks around the lab. Queez is ancient, trying to get Donatello to back into the right position to capture him. Donatello, I'm not sure I should trust you. Queez, as he gesticulates, left, move left. Donatello turns back to Queez. What? Queez catches himself. Queez, left. Not much time left. Donatello, I'll check out your book. Donatello takes the CD-ROM and climbs through the air shaft just a moment before a glass tube comes spiraling upward from the floor, right where Donatello just stood. Now, if that line was left inside the show, I would have liked that episode a lot more. Because, really, you get Donatello all of a sudden working on this invention. You see Don and Queez going through the motions of it. But with that one line gone, you're sitting there going, okay, Don, we understand this is your passion. It's something you enjoy. You've always wanted to trust Dr. Queez. But why? After everything you've seen Dr. Queez do, why are you trusting him now? But the answer was in the script all along. There's so many more stories and information about scripts that I have here. As you can tell, there is stacks of scripts from the Next Mutation. This is all the Next Mutation. And the only thing here that is not a script is the Bible, which doesn't have too horribly much, but definitely has some differences from what we know of the Turtles. And this is stuff that hopefully through time I'll be able to share on CowabungaCorner.com little by little at a time so people can get a sneak peek at what it was like behind the scenes of this amazing 26 episode series. I don't have every single episode. If I can get my hands on some of the scripts out there, that would be great. One of my scripts, East Meets West Part 2, was stolen back in 2008. When my laptop bag, along with my laptop, my sister's purse, and a lot more, was stolen out of my VW Bug while we were in Maryland. I would love to replace it, but I feel it's irreplaceable. It's autographed, as is all these scripts. If you want to know the story behind Kevin Eastman's autograph on all of these, Search up on Cowabunga Corner the Words and Pictures Museum membership party from 1997. If you just search that up, you will hear the story of how Kevin insisted on signing these scripts. We got a lot more that we will be sharing on the website that cannot make it on here. As you can tell, I stumble on words a lot. I am dyslexic. Reading out loud is not my favorite thing to do. But I wanted to share some of this with you guys so you could see what is behind the scenes and maybe get the chance to read some of this when we do post it on the forums. So, next time here on Cowabunga Corner, we will review IDW books, issues 6 through 10, where we're talking about Mousers, Baxter Stockman, Old Hob getting his hands on Splinter, and April O'Neil learning about the Turtles, and so many other spoilers, because I do give spoilers, coming up in next week's episode of Cowabunga Corner. We'll catch you here next time.